We all hope for that perfect weather on our wedding day, but sometimes Mother Nature can have other plans. Weather can be tricky, but sometimes the wrong weather can even make your wedding day that much more amazing. I sat down with some of the leading wedding industry professionals and asked their opinion on some tips and tricks on how you can make the best out of your extreme weather conditions on your wedding day.
Just be prepared for it. Like, if it looks like it might rain, have some umbrellas pre-purchased just in case you need them. If it's really hot, don't have your ceremony outside if it's 104 degrees and everyone's melting. If it's really cold and it's raining, don't have your ceremony outside. Like, have backup plans and use them if you need. Like, if it's in an extreme, use your backup.
Okay, so what happens when you're in extreme temperatures and under extreme pressure and you don't hydrate and you don't eat? You're gonna pass out. So make sure you eat enough, drink water. It's important. You don't want to get sick. Don't overdrink. You don't want to end up in the bathroom on your wedding night.
Okay, very hot. You always have to have water. If you're thinking about doing anything outside, always provide your guests with something to drink. Also, umbrellas. Order them from Amazon and you can return them, Amazon Prime. So if you're thinking about having a winter wedding, I would not have the ceremony start at like 10 a.m. I would definitely have it start later so that you're giving your guests time to arrive. Also, maybe consider a travel day in between. So a Sunday wedding versus a Saturday, so guests can travel on Saturday.
Extreme weather for heat, I think it's a really nice idea to maybe have hair and makeup come and touch back up if you can. That's something that I know is another budget issue, but I've seen people do it. And if you're concerned about that, if it's July 4th, you're getting married and it's going to be 107, maybe talk to your hair and makeup person and see if they'd be open to coming back midway through and doing a little touch-up maybe before the ceremony or something like that. I think most hair and makeup people could give you a quote or availability and stuff like that. For rain or snow, I think those can be turned into creative moments for photography. So talk with your photographer about ideas for that. Also having some backup indoor locations for those types of moments. I think a good photographer will have plan A, plan B.
So for very cold, one thing that I always say, even if you're freezing, be careful for brides and bridesmaids if they have shawls or jackets. If you have an updo in the back, it'll completely destroy it if you're taking it on and off and moving it around for pictures. So I always say, like, just suck it up and have the goosebumps. Try not to, put something on and off a lot. And then for summer, definitely try to stay in the AC as much as you can. Keep your limit of being outside in the humidity as little as you can. And bringing that artist on set if you have a really long gap where you're going to be outside in a Chicago summer. It's definitely beneficial.
I encourage couples to think about the date they're getting married and the typical weather in Chicago. No one is happy sitting in the boiling hot sun waiting for you to get married for 30 minutes. Be considerate of your guests.
I mean, especially in a city like Chicago, you always have to be prepared. So just have a plan A and a plan B if there's an outdoor element to your wedding. Think about the comfort of your guests. If you're going to have guests outside for an extended period of time next to the water, maybe make sure that you have some little kits in the bathroom that have things like bug spray and sunscreen. Things like that will help them kind of withstand the weather a little bit more if they're not getting sunburned and eaten by mosquitoes. If you're having a fall wedding and your ceremony is outside, think about bringing in patio heaters or providing little shawls perhaps as a favor, or even ones that'll be returned. But something to keep the ladies' shoulders warm if it's a little chilly that evening. And other people have gone so far as to provide flip-flops for the dance floor to make sure people's feet don't hurt when they're partying under the stars.
So always have a sweater or a jacket, even if it's summertime. You don't know if you're going to be cold inside or hot inside. Personally, I am always cold no matter where I am. So have a sweater. If you're getting married in the summertime, keep in mind your gown, your suit. You don't want something that has too long of sleeves or is too thick of a fabric if you're having your entire reception outside. And also for the ladies, always have a pair of flats. No matter whether it's summer, winter, just keep a pair of comfortable shoes handy.
For heat, I mean, it's difficult when it comes down to taking things off. If you have a cap sleeve, see if you can make it detachable. Don't wear shawls in the heat. And that's it really for the heat, because there's not, once you have the dress on, that's it. You think about it before actually buying the dress. If you know you're gonna be in Mexico, don't get a ball gown. That's like a taffeta, you know? But for cold weather, you can have, there's always something that you can either buy or rent, whether it be a faux fur or a fur if you're into that, shawls, some kind of capeless. There's always different kinds of options that we can show you.
In the heat, keep those blooms hydrated. And we do our end by sending along a vase with a couple inches of water. But that's how we get it to you. I would say, you know, throughout the day, keep that vase with you. When you are not being photographed, put it back in there. Let it stay hydrated throughout the day. And then in the cold, keep it covered. And we will send, you know, just kind of like some paper to kind of cover it. Just kind of keep it covered. And it's always like when you are not being photographed with it in those extreme days, that extreme weather, just kind of make sure they're kind of put away somewhere, covered or in water, one of the two, yeah.
So if it's, you know, the summertime, have cold water, have some snacks with you. You don't want anybody fainting. Wintertime, bundle up, you know, get one of those nice little scarves. Springtime, have some umbrellas handy just in case it's gonna rain, which has happened. Rain does happen a lot in Illinois, as we know.
Did you call it Illinois?
Yeah.
You're off this program.
Plan ahead, pay attention to the weather, plan ahead. If it's gonna downpour rain, get some golf umbrellas and make a plan. Contact your vendors and figure out what their plan is.
If it's going to be cold, don't be afraid of wearing thermal pants or Ugg boots under your dress. Don't be afraid of the rain. It can actually make for beautiful photos. Don't be afraid of it being a little warmer, being a little colder. Like, your vendor should be able to make anything work. If you're a person not built for summer, don't get married in summer.
Lots and lots of water. Make sure that you have water for all of your wedding party, because if they're outside for photos or video or whatever, then they need to make sure they don't faint. Make sure you eat. Big one. Other things are those super handy fans. Sounds silly, but those little bitty fans you can get from Walmart actually come in handy.
The guys can go without jackets. It is, you know, you can find a classy look in just the vest or just a button up.
What are those shirts that you always tell the guys to get?
Oh, the Under Armour heat gear.
Yeah.
Wear that under your...
For the girls, wearing leggings or sweatpants underneath your dress. If you have a long dress, no one's gonna notice. Wearing boots underneath your dress too. No one cares about your super fancy shoes where your toes can show on a winter day with a bunch of snow. Make sure you're warm and comfortable.
Those little hand warmers.
That's what I was just gonna say. The hand warmer things, those are awesome. But seriously, as a couple, be prepared and bring those for you and for your wedding party.
Especially if you know you're getting married winter, plan accordingly that you have 15 minutes after all your photo time before the ceremony to get out of all your winter clothes, put back on your dress stuff, you know, that you had on anyway, and then
go.
You won't be roasting inside.
Be prepared, especially in the Chicagoland area. You really don't know what you're going to get. I've had 60 degrees in January and I've had 30 degrees in October. You just don't know what you're going to get. Just because you're having a June wedding, it doesn't mean it's going to be sunny. Just because you're having a December, January wedding, it doesn't mean you're going to have the beautiful snowflakes that you want. Yes, let's go play in the fog. We don't have snow. It's 60 degrees. It doesn't matter. We're still going to go out there and rock it. That's what matters. All we need is a willing, happy couple.
Have a change of clothes if possible. If you're the groom, have an extra shirt. You know, it's gonna get hot if it's 100 degrees outside. Bring an umbrella. You know, if it's really cold, keep some hand warmers available for your bridesmaids. Give them a shawl, give them, you know, those faux fur wraps that are so popular. Allow your bridesmaids to wear coats in between taking pictures if the timeline allows.
We've done many outdoor weddings during the summer, so I highly recommend keeping that in mind, that it could be 100 degrees on your wedding day. And you have to remember that when you have an outdoor venue, so I recommend having it inside, like during your flowers, everything will look so much better inside on a 100-degree day. So I just think that keep in mind that in June when I got married, I thought beginning first week of June, it's not going to be that hot. It was one of the hottest days of the year. So it was almost 100 degrees on that day. So I just think indoor venues are better during the June, July, August months. So yeah.
For hot weather days, I would recommend having bottled water available for your guests so they're hydrated. If you're expecting rain that day, making sure that umbrellas are available to your guests is pretty much important. I would also recommend bringing a change of clothes, such as an extra blouse and an extra jacket, just in case it does get wet or becomes too muggy and you feel sweaty. You can change into something different, be a little bit fresh for dinner and dancing.
If it's going to be very cold, have some other layers. If you think it's going to be snowing, make sure you leave extra early. Make sure you have provisions, have hot chocolate set up for people, have water. If it's going to be an outdoor ceremony, have water. Maybe get some cheap, cute little fans that people can use. See if you can make sure you have a shaded area for the video person, for the musicians and everything like that. Look out for your other vendors too. And they can help you. What can I do to help you? But anticipate, if you see the forecast is going to be for rain, unfortunately, you're going to have to really adapt to, maybe we use room B or plan B or something. And this is a time to rely on your bridal party to help you out. Have your sister take care of things for you. This is the one day in your life, but that these people are absolutely there to help you with whatever the situation is. And double check, all your transportation stuff, things like that. Make sure that they are aware that there's a big snow. I'm sure they will, but just a quick little 30-second call can really make a big difference.
Hydrate. If it's summertime, hydrate, right? And if it's the other side, if it's wintertime, you just, when you're doing your photo shoots and stuff like that, you gotta designate somebody to carrying coats. Get a little wagon, the little pop-up wagon from Aldi for $30. Bring your supplies with you. Just kind of be prepared. Just because it's not raining doesn't mean an umbrella is not nice to have, man. When you're out there in a tuxedo and makeup, and you could be the man's man and still hold an umbrella. I've been in plenty of soccer games, weddings, and outdoors events holding an umbrella, and nobody's ever come over and kick sand in my face because I'm a sissy. So hold an umbrella, be comfortable, man. That's what it's all about. Do everything you can to be comfortable, because you're wearing stuff you don't ever wear.
Always have a backup plan. Weather happens. Expect it. Don't let it ruin your day. It's just weather. And the sun will come out, maybe. But I had one of my most beautiful weddings. It was gray and dreary. And the coolest thing was, just when I pronounced them married, the clouds parted and the sun came out. It was almost like we planned it. So sometimes you have those unexpected moments, but just always have a backup plan. And that includes heat. Heat is really important. I tend not to do a lot of weddings in August, and I always ask, is it indoors or outdoors? Because I will melt, and that won't be pretty. And so will the people in suits. Right. So consider your guests. Even though you think 95 degrees in the sun is great, Grandma doesn't, and neither does your officiant.
Or your fat videographer.
We hope this episode of Vendors helps you on your wedding planning. Be sure to like, follow, subscribe, and to share to make sure you and your fellow planning couples don't miss a single episode. If you enjoyed watching this video, be sure to check out our entire conversation in the podcast. You can find all of today's vendors and their contact information in the details below this video. And be sure to check out all of our episodes about these amazing wedding industry professionals. We'll see you next time on Vendors. Vendors is produced and edited by Night Owls Media. More information can be found at nightowlsmedia.com.